another sport like the NBA, which is dealing with its own, scandals, so to speak, and its own headlines with the FBI and what else comes, because this is the same FBI team that also brought the NBA scandals to light. So I'd have to imagine they're working on some other stuff as well right now, and the timing is definitely not a coincidence, but definitely some very significant news in the gambling world that now you're not going to be able to bet more than $200 on a specific pitch market.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
The 35 cents, though, for yes on Ohio State.
Yeah.
I like that, Donnie. I think there's value in that right now because we only got, 3 weeks left to go. Then we'll have conference championships. Yeah, the more they keep winning, and they will win, the more that will increase, and that's a pretty good return on an investment there with Kalshi.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Where are the wins coming from? And yes, I agree. Are they good enough to win those games? Yeah, of course they are, right? But the reality of this team is not very good this year in one-score games. They're not. That was their bread and butter a year ago. Like every win last year, one-score game, the Chiefs found a way to win it.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
It's almost like betting the stock market. The good part about it is you can take a bet today. In the 2 or 3 days, if you nail that bet, you can be able to cash out, Joe. Like you just hit a heavy stock. Like you go into Sun Microsystems or whatever it's called, and you buy into it. In 3 days, you can sell it for a massive profit. Do you understand these markets, Joe?
I do understand the markets. It's amazing how some of the predictive markets seem to have the answers before the test.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
It's a Friday, yes, a Football Friday, right here on the SportsGrid Network. Donnie Rightside and Joe Ranieri. This is how we get down. 1 hour's down, 1 hour to go. Then your weekend is going to be here, but it's our goal, and it's our job each and every morning to get you ready for the rest of your SportsGrid day so you know what's coming back up on the horizon, and also using that information of what happened yesterday and how to apply it moving forward, Joe. We got some great topics to talk about, some interesting environments, and some good football. It's the way it's supposed to be on a Friday here, isn't it?
What it's all about here, Donnie. Huge weekend ahead. Great NBA slate. Some great college basketball games here tonight with some top 25 teams. And, of course, heading into what is going to be a monster Week 13 in college football tomorrow. Buckle up. Going to be a whole lot of fun.
It is going to be a whole lot of fun here. Let's get to some of the hottest topics across the sports landscape. The early lineup, Joe, which sees us Joe Burrow on the hunt with a possible start this weekend, taking on the New England Patriots. And if we know one thing, Joe, this line was 7.5, 8, even 8.5 at some outlets. You know, we're sitting this morning on a Friday, 5.5. The belief is that he, talking about Joe Burrow, is going to make a big difference today for the Cincinnati Bengals if he practices and also plays on Sunday. But we've been laughing at this one going like, does he play defensive end? Does he play linebacker? How about safety? How about cornerback right now? Offense hasn't been the issue. That defense stinks.
Well, it's funny because the Bengals coach, Zach Taylor, says he hasn't made a decision yet. But the betting market, Donnie, to your point, seems to think they know the answer. And they believe that Burrow will be on the field against the Patriots. New England was, an 8.5-point favorite a couple of days ago. Now I'm seeing 6. Now I'm seeing nothing but money coming in here on them without a decision. That's a big risk, laying money down on a Bengals defense because you think, Flacco wouldn't be able to put up 30 points? He's been doing it the whole time he's there, so the offense, not the issue with Cincinnati.
No, it's certainly not. And I'm interested to see, because you are going to have some rust when you come back. It's not a great offensive line. You take a look at, the New England Patriots, the hottest team in football. Can they run this up to close to a 10-game win streak? We'll find that out. But the public also buying Joe Burrow coming back is going to make a difference. And also keep in mind, Jamar Chase's top target will not be playing this weekend, not due to injury, but due to suspension here. We'll see what happens with T. Higgins. But also T. Higgins says, hey, man, My guy Joey Burrow looks really good in practice. We'll see how it plays out. Keep an eye on that all-important Friday practice report. You'll get the details if he's starting or not for this weekend's game. Joe Mixon, he's not on any practice reports. He's not even practicing, quite frankly. He's probably not going to play a single snap for the Houston Texans this year. And, hey, Woody Marks is like, I got you, man. We'll be just fine.
And kid's done a great job. Did a great job last night. Kind of his coming out party there against the Bills, helping his team win that game and get above 500. But listen, Mixon was hurt before like training camp, and it was unfortunate then. But even if he was on the field, given the state of that offensive line, I don't know how much help he would have provided here. It's all about the defense with the Texans. But I do hope they eventually get Mixon back, and it sounds like it won't be until next year.
Nope. How about this one? Go to Las Vegas. It's a party city. You are supposed to go there with a really nice hotel room, hit the strip, get some cocktails, gamble a little bit, stay out late, and maybe you have a little bit too much to drink. The Dallas Cowboys like, hey, man, we're on vacation. We're playing the Raiders. That's an easy victory. We saw the game start. No Pickens and no CeeDee Lamb to start. What the heck's going on right now? Oh, no, they must have gotten in trouble or missed a team meeting. They didn't miss a team meeting. They're at the Red Rock Casino getting hammered, and also CeeDee Lamb was seen, which he denies, throwing up in a trash can. Boys put on a show, though, on Monday Night Football, beginning the question, do these guys even need rest and relaxation, or can they just get hammered and play football games at top levels?
It's just so funny that he had to defend the rumor that he was actually throwing up at the Red Rock Casino, which is why he wanted to set the record straight. Like, let me get I can hold my alcohol, Donnie. All right. The reason we didn't play is simply because we missed curfew. It's got nothing to do with anything else other than missing curfew. Thanks for the clarification, CD.
Look, the biggest part I have about this is I know they're professional athletes, and it's one thing like, the guys probably go out early in the week, tie one on, have some fun, go out to the clubs. Even like Thursday night's a big night in the NFL. But you still have Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday to get ready for the game. Like, what a bad look. Like, you have a curfew for a reason. Like, hey, guys, in bed by 10 o'clock. We had a big game tomorrow. We have to win. No, let's go out and get hammered on the road before we have a play. And also, I don't think the story isn't getting enough news from like a Dallas perspective, because you don't want to, harm your team at the spite of a couple players, but missing one series in that because you went out and got hammered, which is everything against a team concept you can possibly have. And that's all of the retribution that they got. Like Jerry Jones would be on his radio show going like, I don't know if I want to play these guys next week, because you can't have a team and not have everybody buy in. And it's one thing to like, hey man, snuck out, met up with some lady friends that night, got back a little bit late, but I wasn't drinking, a little bit tired, but I'll be fine for the game. Like, leaving and breaking curfew, being in a casino, probably gambling and getting sloshed. That's unbelievable.
Shocker, right, Donnie? Shocker. And they, by the way, I mean, kudos to that. They really showed them by sitting them in the first series there. That was, I'm sure, lesson is learned, Donnie. Absolutely. Yeah. Won't happen again.
Nope, won't happen again. I'll tell you, won't happen again, or maybe it will. 8 sacks against Josh Allen. They looked pathetic last night. Why? Because the Texans' D was ramped up and ready to go. Despite Mr. Cook having 116 yards and a touchdown on the ground, the Texans get the victory. Now, they improved to 6-5, and the Bills dropped to 7-4 last night.
Not good for the Bills, although, a short week on the road, going up against the number one defense, and you're shorthanded. Not a great scenario there, but hats off to Davis Mills as the backup now. 3 rattling off wins here as the backup. That defense is showing why it's number one in the NFL. That defense can win you some games, and only 2 back of Indy now. All of a sudden, that division, Donnie, not a lock for Indy at all in this spot.
Yeah, specifically if they lose this weekend to the Kansas City Chiefs. Upcoming for the Buffalo Bills at the Steelers, and then the Bengals with Joe Burrow looking like he's coming back, and then at the Patriots here. Huge swing where they probably expected to pick up. And by the way, you blew a game against the Dolphins. Losing a game to the Texans on Thursday on the road, that's not too much of a shame. That's the one where your downfall, which probably will keep you from at least winning the division here. Let's get to Tyrese Maxey, 54 points last night in a victory over the Milwaukee Bucks on the road. Kid was sensational. The usage rate is high, Joe. How about that?
It is absolutely high, but again, so are his minutes, averaging over 40 a game here, Donnie. The Sixers have to be careful. You cannot. You already have a Paul George Embiid play every fifth game kind of situation here. You cannot burn out Tyrese Maxey before you get to the end of the year. That would be disastrous for the Sixers.
Bus brothers are out. How many buses actually work for the Los Angeles Lakers over the past couple years? Insane amounts. They're no longer there. The new ownership group is in, and their people are getting put in place now, Joe.
Yeah, this had to be part of the original deal. Like, listen, Genie's like, I'm selling a team, but you got to keep my brothers on. And then, give it a couple of them, and then you can fire them whenever you want. And sure enough, that's the reorganization is hilarious. We were never given a reason as to why, just a reorganization. That's pretty funny.
I can't wait for this lockout that's due to come up in the WNBA. They're not happy with the new financials coming out that might quadruple most of their salaries. They want more at this point. It's crazy. They want more money, but they don't want Caitlin Clark in the league. They don't want her on TV. And who cares if anybody's making any money? They want more. Do they get more, Joe? And also, are we headed for a lockout? No doubt about it.
Yeah, it's happening, Donnie. I mean, you're talking about a league that has only existed to lose money from the very start, and somehow or another, the minute it starts to turn a little bit upward, now we're asking for the leverage, Donnie. It's all about leverage, and I don't see how the WNBA Association has any of it.
Yeah, we won't miss it because the leverage in the NFL is if we don't play games, people will riot in streets. If they don't play the WNBA games, people go out to the beach and hang out at the pool. It's summertime. Do something with your lives out here. We're doing something with our lives right here on the early line. Next, more topics on the way.
Ashton Genty has been hit behind the line of scrimmage more than any player in the National Football League. Yep. So you just gave him the ball in the end zone. Do the math. How's that going to work out?
It's like what I said earlier.
He got hit behind the line of scrimmage. He got tackled in the end zone.
Yeah.
Oh, they're terrible. But the thing is, Brady, you draft offensive linemen before you draft a star running back. Like they went backwards.
In-game live only on SportsGrid.
When I think of the European tour, these are the players I'm thinking of, right? So I understand why that they would be so frustrated by all this, but they also know that there are rules in place that from a competitive standpoint, that if you're a member of this tour, like you can't go join a rival tour. Like there's rules in place, just like in any other business.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
The Green Bay area and the Philadelphia area, you would get on ABC normally.
Yes.
But they didn't have ABC, so they couldn't get it locally.
Yeah, it just, you have to ask the question, like, nobody wants to hear from Bob Iger during the Monday night game when 10 million people are blacked out from watching the game, and you not ask him about when the blackout's going to end.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
The 35 cents, though, for yes on Ohio State.
Yeah.
I like that, Donnie. I think there's value in that right now because we only got, 3 weeks left to go. Then we'll have conference championships. Yeah, the more they keep winning, and they will win, the more that will increase, and that's a pretty good return on an investment there with Kalshi.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Let's get this action going in college football. By the way, lightning strikes once, twice, 3 times. Ohio State's the number 1 team. But before we get there, we always want to hear from Bill Belichick because he's in the news half the time for all the wrong reasons, not winning and attending cheerleader competitions. Let's hear from Bill.
Going back to some of the fluctuating snap counts, do you feel like at all for these players it's hard for them to get into a rhythm and sort of how do you balance, for example, the running backs with having 4 to 5 guys play every game? Do you feel like it's hard for them to get into a rhythm versus wanting to ride the hot hand?
man. I don't know.
Play practice.
Look, man, when you spend a lot of time up late breaking down cheerleader videos here and how the team can perform better, that's what you get. You get the short answers right there. But by the way, what kind of question was, you got 5 running backs. Do you want to ride the hot hand if one of them needs to ride the hot hand? Bill's like, come on, man, enough with this.
That is so vintage. And you could hear it too, right? Probably from the school newspaper, right? Journalism major, all excited about the guest. Bill Belichick, a football question about how do you get into rhythm? And Belichick's like, dude, I don't, like, stop it. Absolutely stop. I'm just waiting for him to be like, we're on to Wake Forest. That's it. That's all I got to say. Is we're going on to Wake Forest and move on.
Exactly.
Classic Belichick there.
We're asking this guy whether or not he has a 5 running back rotation. He's like, brother, I got to call it the Giants coming up about 30 minutes. I'm ready to take that job and move on at this point right now. But the college football playoff rankings will continue on a week-to-week basis because we're still playing games roughly 2 weeks to go in the regular season. Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M, Georgia, and Texas Tech. By the way, Texas Tech, one of the best teams money can absolutely buy. But the college football playoff, the projected bracket, I continuously say this, if it stays the same, it looks great. Just remove Tulane out of there, put an SEC team in. We will rock and roll with some of the highest rated games you can possibly have. But you know what's going to happen. I don't know, Louisville is going to get in over Miami, which, again, I don't think Louisville can. I'm just being facetious there. And Tulane, who cares if they're in at this point, Joe? We're close to making a perfect bracket. We're not there yet, but some of these games, including round number 2, will be really, really fun to watch.
It certainly is. And listen, this weekend, you can't overstate how much is at stake in some of these games. I mean, nobody has talked about USC all year long, Donnie, and yet they have an opportunity to go on the road and upset the apple cart in a big, big way if they can pull off the upset against Oregon. And listen, same thing with the ACC and Pitt and Georgia Tech, right? For all the marbles. Can SMU get it done this weekend? Another big game. BYU, Cincinnati. I mean, you go down the list, only 2 weeks left. There are huge implications in all of these games coming up this weekend.
Yeah, it's just taking a look at like how this would work. Like Oklahoma, ND, let's see ND wins. They play Ohio State. Love to see that. Texas Tech, Georgia would be great. Let's just say Oregon faces against Indiana would be fun stuff. And Ole Miss going up against Texas A&M. I like to see that. But here's where the part where I really start to get angry at the college football playoff. Why do we then go to bowls here, Joe, after that? Like, if you are an Ohio State fan, are you excited about saying, why would I pay for round 1 for us, which is on the road to the bowl? And then I got to pay for another bowl game for round number 2. And then I got to pay to go on the road again for the championship game. Just have these teams on their home turf and then have the biggest game, whatever the championship game is, at a rotation of the Rose Bowl, the Orange Bowl, the Peach Bowl, whatever it might be. Why are we going on the road here to these Rose Bowl? Hey, we won the – does anybody know if you win the Rose Bowl? Like, who cares about winning the Rose Bowl anymore? You're looking to win a national championship. Ridiculous.
Money. Donnie, money. That's the only reason why you're going to go ahead. If you're locked out and you've expanded the playoffs now, Donnie, right, to this absurd 12-team playoff, and now what happens again? The teams 13, 14, and 15 on the outside looking in are all going to have a gripe here. And while your consolation is you go get to make multi-trillions of dollars by playing in a New Year's Day bowl game that nobody cares about. It's going to be interesting, but I do think, didn't they change the rules too about opting out prior to that? So I don't know if that's going to help or not help, but most of the kids that you're going to be watching in these bowl games, Donnie, you'll never have any idea who they are because they didn't play it all this year.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's time to do away with the bowls altogether. It used to be, we're going to get a nice play. Nobody cares about 5 or 6 win teams in meaningless games, except for the degenerate handicappers. Can you imagine this, Joe? If like, hey, can't bet on college football anymore. The bowls would go away like this. They would be gone. There won't be a single bowl game next year outside of the college football playoff, Joe, if you took away legalized gambling. What do you think about that?
Well, listen, if you're the Sun Belt, if you're the Mountain West, if you're the MAC, having a chance to play one game in the Bahamas is, I get it. You know what I mean? I get it. But if you're the University of Miami and you're shut out of the playoffs, what in the hell do you care about going to the Peach Bowl? Like, you know what I mean? Like, why do you care? So, I think there's a place for it, just not with the big boys. I don't think there's any quality football you're going to get out of those programs.
How about some quality football this weekend, Joe? Take a look at Missouri and Oklahoma. 12 noon start there. 6.5-point spread for Oklahoma as the favorite at home. Any letdown for the boys at OU after their monster victory last week against Alabama?
Well, there shouldn't be. And that defense is no joke. And it is another one of these situations that is carrying them. Now, listen, Missouri is, for all our purposes here, out of the playoff, right? They do not have a win over a currently ranked opponent. That could obviously change here, but there's no guarantee that even beating Oklahoma would put them in that at-large range. So, this is a tough spot for Missouri. They got nothing to lose. Oklahoma's got everything to lose here, but I expect a big effort in Norman.
USC, Oregon, Joe, from Oregon. We're now seeing it go through the 10 number. Multiple outlets now showing a minus 10-point favor for Oregon. Are they just going to walk over SC? Do we get points in this game, Joe? What gives on Saturday at 3:30?
Well, barring anything crazy, the Big Ten championship is already set, Donnie. It's Ohio State versus Indiana. I mean, that's what it's going to be. So the only question here is, can USC pull off the upset and climb all of a sudden into the race now that they'd have wins over Michigan, Nebraska, Iowa, and you add Oregon? All of a sudden, USC's in the conversation.
All of a sudden, the USC in the conversation. Can they pull off the upset? We'll find out. To the cow markets we go on a Friday. Where are we going to find some action? Find out.
Ashton Jeanty has been hit behind the line of scrimmage more than any player in the National Football League. So you just gave him the ball in the end zone. Do the math. How's that going to work out?
It's like what I said
earlier.
earlier.
He got hit behind the line of scrimmage. He got tackled in the end zone.
Yeah.
Oh, they're terrible. But the thing is, Brady, you draft offensive linemen before you draft a star running back. Like they went backwards.
In-game live only on SportsGrid.
When I think of the European tour, these are the players I'm thinking of, right? So I understand why that they would be so frustrated by all this, but they also know that there are rules in place that, from a competitive standpoint, that if you're a member of this tour, like, you can't go join a rival tour. Like, there's rules in place, just like in any other business.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
The Green Bay area and the Philadelphia area, you would get on ABC normally.
Yes.
But they didn't have ABC, so they couldn't get it locally.
Yeah, it just, you have to ask the question, like, nobody wants to hear from Bob Iger during the Monday night game when 10 million people are blacked out from watching the game, and you not ask him about when the blackout's going to end.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
The 35 cents, though, for yes on Ohio State.
Yeah.
I like that, Donnie. I think there's value in that right now because we only got, 3 weeks left to go. Then we'll have conference championships. Yeah, the more they keep winning, and they will win, the more that will increase, and that's a pretty good return on an investment there with Kalshi.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
It's a Friday show. Time to have some fun in the Kalshi markets. A different way to handicap and a different way to wager at this point, out of the stock market, as opposed to I put my money in, let's see the outcome. You can watch that stock go higher or lower on a day-to-day basis. You can cash out when you want to. You can buy more if you want to here. Let's get to the market show. And the question that we're going to talk about first, Offensive Player of the Year in the NFL. Jonathan Taylor at a 70% chance right now. Jackson Smith-Njigba has been nothing short of spectacular, the wide receiver for the Seattle Seahawks. And Christian McCaffrey, a 4% chance. It looks like Taylor's running away because you're not allowed to win MVP if you're running back, Joe, but they'll let you win Offensive Player of the Year.
As well, they should, because he's been nothing short of absolutely MVP worthy. And there's been a few guys. I mean, JSN there has been ridiculous for Seattle, but I think Jonathan Taylor coming to his own is a big reason why Indy is sitting there at the top of their division and has an opportunity to do the unthinkable, and that's go to Arrowhead and beat Kansas City this week, and he is a big reason why.
Close to $1 million in volume being traded right now in the Offensive Player of the Year. If you did put $100 down on Jonathan Taylor, that would pay back $143, so a 43% increase on your money that you had. There are a lot of long shots in here, but it doesn't feel like those would be good bets. Like, hey, I'm going to put it on Justin Herbert. Well, yeah, if Justin Herbert wins it, Joe, a $100 wager would pay back $10,000. They even have a market for if you want to bet Malik Neighbors. What, you just want to throw your football? You just want to throw money away at that point? Like, if you bet the no on Neighbors. It doesn't even allow you. Like, there's no offers out there, but you can bet the yes on here. What do you think about Jackson Smith-Njigba and or Puka Nakua's wideouts here? Or is it just as long as Jonathan Taylor's leg doesn't fall off, he wins it?
Well, I think McCaffrey's interesting too, because, if the 49ers can go on a run here and the teams that they have to play the rest of the way, Donnie, are cupcakes. He could have monster games receiving and running here. So, I think he's an interesting character simply because I think the 49ers are going to drop 30 more points on every team that they play moving forward, which makes him won't win it all together, but you can probably get some value if you back him now.
Offensive Rookie of the Year, who wins that? We'll find out. How about the AFC Championship winner? We will also find that out. Now, Indianapolis, the favorite here in the Kalshi market at 18%, followed by Baltimore at 16%, Buffalo at 16%, New England at 16%, and Denver right now at 14%. You plunk down $100 on Denver, that pays back handsomely at $715. Houston creeping back in. The AFC, Joe, wide open. Where's the money going for you here?
Denver. Get them now. Again, that defense is showing you everything you need to know about in a year, Donnie, where, it's not about how good the offense is. It's about how good that defense is right now. And to this point, Indy's defense has been middle of the road, even after making the trade for Sauce Gardner and Bradley Chubb there from Miami. We got to see more from them, but I don't know what else you need to see from Denver's defense to know that at 9-2, they got a pretty good opportunity. It could be the AFC runs through Denver, which is advantage Broncos.
Like, I know, Joe, you're not supposed to have recency bias, like, on what you watched, but it hasn't just been one game for the Buffalo Bills. I just don't think they're that good. And you're getting them in environments where it's like, yes, they're going to play well at home. Most teams do, and they have a unique advantage in Buffalo. But you got them on the road in warmer weather conditions in Miami. They look terrible. You put them in a dome. The offense completely fell apart. There's 16% chance, which means $100 pays back $625. But it feels like of those upper level teams, you should be wanting to back Buffalo, Joe. And I find myself going like, I don't want anything to do with them right now.
What makes them so dangerous, Donnie, and worth considering backing is in a one-game winner-take-all. I don't mind having my money on Josh Allen. I don't care about who he's playing. I just don't. With the experience and the wrecking machine that he can be there, I'd like to see him get a little healthier. And if they can, then he is just as dangerous as anybody in the playoffs. Anybody in a one-game winner, move on.
Well, let's get to some NBA action here. How about Defensive Player of the Year winner? Wembanyama is going to be down for multiple weeks, but he's still sitting as the favorite right now to 30%. Actually, is he the favorite or did he move here? Let me just take a look because I got Chet Holmgren. Chet Holmgren, $100 pays back $304. And if we take a look at Wembanyama, 100 pays back 304 as well. So almost a virtual tie between Wembanyama and Chet Holmgren. Two really tall guys, Joe. Who would get it for you?
I don't know. Mobley should be considered somewhere in there. I don't know what his numbers are either
11%.
for the Cavs. But, Chet Holmgren, as long as he can stay healthy, pretty good bet.
Let's start previewing some of those NFL games on Sunday. We got a lot to get to, people. Come on back and join us.
And Mahomes were never taken serious. Hurts won't be even if they're the 1 seed. Jonathan Taylor plays running back. Stop. Mahomes lost the head-to-head to Josh. Can I confidently eliminate every single person booked behind Josh Allen to at least beat out Josh Allen? So I'm in a head-to-head with Stafford May?
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Another sport like the NBA, which is dealing with its own, scandals, so to speak, and its own headlines with the FBI and what else comes, because this is the same FBI team that also brought the NBA scandals to light. So I'd have to imagine they're working on some other stuff as well right now, and the timing is definitely not a coincidence, but definitely some very significant news in the gambling world that now you're not going to be able to bet more than $200 on a specific pitch market.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Where are the wins coming from? And yes, I agree. Are they good enough to win those games? Yeah, of course they are, right? But the reality of this team is not very good this year in one-score games. They're not. That was their bread and butter a year ago. Like every win last year, one-score game, the Chiefs found a way to win it.
The Craig Carton Show. Only on SportsGrid.
You need Justin Jefferson on that wall in the playoffs. Like, you got to go get him. He is still the man. I understand the JJ week last. I get it. It was ugly. There were a lot of spots where, where's he throwing that ball to? What's he doing? It'll be fine. Justin Jefferson's far too talented, and McCarthy will continue to figure it out. But it's the target volume you want. He gets double-digit targets every week. He is arguably the best wide receiver in the NFL.
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid.
Steelers this weekend. On the road to take on the Chicago Bears. And by the way, don't look now. The Chicago Bears turning out to be one of the better teams in the NFC. If they pick up a victory this weekend over Pittsburgh, they get next week on Black Friday, the Philadelphia Eagles in Philadelphia. Can you imagine a strong close to the season for the Bears that has them ranking one of the best teams in the NFC? That's Ben Johnson over there, NFL guru on offense. We'll see if that continues. But the Bears are favored this week on a 1 o'clock start on Sunday over Pittsburgh. 2.5 points. We don't know who the Pittsburgh quarterback is going to be. If I know anything about former Green Bay quarterbacks, Brett Favre, he was a crash test dummy. Broken, hand, broken thumb on his throwing hand. Didn't matter. He still played football games. Aaron Rodgers is out there running around a practice field. He's not doing that for his health at this age. I think he's going to play, and I don't think he should. Joe. What do you think this weekend?
Well, listen, if it's not really a detriment, right? If it's not really affecting him being able to get the ball, and it's obvious shouldn't affect him throwing the ball, it's not like he's a mobile quarterback and you got to worry about him getting hit anyway, right? So you go with Aaron Rodgers. But if there is, if it's a 70% Aaron Rodgers, Donnie, I'm with you. Why? I'd rather have a healthy Mason Rudolph there that who can – been there, done that, shown that he's a competent backup quarterback, because ultimately the defense is going to have to be a big part of this win for Pittsburgh regardless, right? So the defense I'd be more worried about. They've got to be able to get it done on the road. If they do, I don't really think it should much matter who the quarterback is from Pittsburgh this week.
Yeah, and taking a look here at the practice reports coming out, did not practice on Wednesday for Jaylen Warren, limited on Thursday. He's a little bit banged up. His price point's around 60.5. You would like to get a ground game because if you have Aaron Rodgers banged up and Jaylen Warren, your top back banged up, that doesn't pose well. I actually like the Bears this weekend, but it is surprising to me that you're seeing that number still under 3 for the Bears playing good football and at home, and we don't even know who the quarterback is for Pittsburgh. And when they do show up, it might be a quarterback with a broken wrist. We'll see how that one actually turns out. Let's keep it moving down the list here. Seattle and Tennessee. Expectations in this game are a blowout. Seattle should be able to name their price, but it is a high number. It's 2 touchdowns on the road from an NFC to an AFC team and a low total, Joe, at 40.5. That low total isn't there because Seattle is really good on defense, which they do have a good defense, but it's there because Tennessee's offense, man, it stinks.
It really does. But they're a tough team to figure out, Donnie, right? Because, yes, they're 1-9. They've been blown out 5 times by more than 13 points. But, you know, they do have a crazy win against the Cardinals. And when you consider it, they've covered against the Broncos in week 1. And now they've gone back. They've covered against the Chargers. They've covered against the Texans. And now you're asking Seattle, who's playing well, coming off of that loss, it's a sleepy spot. It's a letdown spot for Seattle. And I don't know. I mean, that's a lot of points here. I think it would have to be dog or pass for me in this one.
How about dog or pass for you in this next game, Joe? 4:05 start out in Vegas. Shedeur Sanders and the boys taking on Las Vegas and Geno Smith. This line opened up as a look ahead, Joe. -2.5 as a favorite towards Las Vegas. Ooh, they were really bad on Monday night. Doesn't matter. They're as high as 4 at some outlets, despite all of the public interest coming in on Cleveland in this game. Shedeur Sanders getting his first start. Here's Kevin Stefanski talking about it.
Shedeur's going to start at quarterback. I think, he's excited about the opportunity, but he's so focused on the work that goes into it. So, yeah, he's worked extremely hard at his craft. Like, and I've pointed this out. This is that rookie class. I mean, he fits in with these guys that they love football. They love what they're doing. They pour themselves into this thing. So, it's been fun to watch Shedeur, fun to watch a lot of these young guys because we've done so many extra reps, extra individual periods to watch them work at their craft, which is, part of one of the main parts of our job is the development of these players. I think Shedeur is just going to be himself. I think that's what players appreciate other players when they're themselves.
Let's put you on the hot seat, Joe Ranieri. Hear those comments from Stefanski going up against a bad Raiders defense, but doesn't mean you can move the football and score at will. Shedeur's first start, he's listed at a 158.5 prop for passing yards, which that's not going up against the steel curtain of the 70s. That's not Ray Lewis and the Ravens in the early 2000s. This is a horrendous defense. Should he be expected to throw for 160-plus yards here?
No. I want nothing to do with this game. You got to be crazy in this game here, given the fact we got 2-8 teams here. Going at it, and now the first start of a rookie here in Shedeur Sanders, who went 4 of 16 in relief last week. And now you've got a Raiders secondary, which has been surprisingly good this year. They're middle of the road for takeaways per game. They still have Max Crosby. That's going to put a ton of pressure on this kid if he holds on to the ball too long. I don't trust either quarterback here, but he should. If they're going to win this game, he is going to have to throw for more than 150 yards, Donnie. I can tell you that here.
Yeah, you saw Javonte Williams run wild. You saw Dak Prescott have success. Pickens had a career night, even after drinking all night. CeeDee Lamb even chipped in. We'll have 50, 60 yards and a touchdown here. That's a bad defense for Vegas. Look at the wide receiving options that you have here. Jerry Jeudy is 34.5 yards. Tillman is 27.5 yards. Fannin is 33.5. And Quinshon Judkins, just to get a dump ball from the backfield, is 5.5. These numbers are so, this is a bad defense, and we're not even, Donnie, they're in Cleveland. It's going to be 22 degrees with 50-mile-an-hour winds and rain or sleet and snow. You're in a dome. Something has to give. I feel like I need to get caught up in this game and just bet it multiple times and be like, you know what, Donnie? You're an idiot. Why'd you even bet this game?
Donnie, it's going to be very, very interesting. I do think if you believe Shedeur Sanders having a week under his belt to practice with the starters and if you think he is going to be better, then bet the Browns. If you don't, then there's no way you can bet the Browns at this point.
Like I do feel that it's almost like the referendum game. He's either going to have to be really good, which I mean by really good, 225 yards passing and a touchdown, right? Really good, quote unquote. But if he throws for like 105, completes like 7 passes, and they lose, like it almost feels to me like he's going to like be out of the league. And it's not fair to do that to a rookie quarterback. It's really not on a bad football team because a lot of people on bad football teams don't play well. But it just feels like he really needs this game to show like at least he's competent, Joe. But if he isn't, where does that leave him in the Cleveland Browns?
Well, that's the big question. And my point the entire time was, listen, Stefanski had every reason in the world, if he thought this kid was the future of the team, he could have thrown him out there and had no problem. But he has been the third stringer on this team forever. And I'm sorry. I think we're going to see it firsthand here. And it's not like he's got the greatest offensive line in the world and weapons and those types of things, but he's got to be competent. Can you be competent enough to be able to motivate this team? If not, Donnie, it could be over before she wrote, because he's still just a 5th-round pick, and it costs you nothing to let him go.
It was clear he wasn't prepared enough to play last week. Like when you snap the football and just run around like a chicken with your head cut off, that's one thing. I wonder if he does it this week with a full week to prepare. But again, it's one of those games where you would never watch, but now I want to watch just to see the way it goes. Jacksonville and Arizona, Joe, 4:05 start also here. Trevor Lawrence, big victory last week. They hammered the Chargers. Arizona looks like they have no defense, but Jacoby Brissett's like, I'm cool. Let me throw it 60 times. 47.5 as a total in a dome here, and a slight favorite towards Jacksonville.
I will be taking no unders with this Arizona team, especially at home, Donnie. It feels like points are coming. I mean, listen, Jacoby Brissett averaging about 26, 27 points a start with this team. Looks like they'll have Harrison Jr. back. There's no reason to think this won't be some sort of interesting shootout at some point in this game.
Nah, it feels like it is. Maybe another 50 completions or so from Jacoby Brissett. Who knows how he's doing it here? But also, Jacksonville looked good last week against that Chargers team. Can they continue that momentum and climb back in the playoff race also in the AFC? We'll find out. More NFL action to come. Coming up next right here on the Early Line.
And Mahomes were never taken serious. Hurts won't be even if they're the 1 seed. Jonathan Taylor plays running back. Stop. Mahomes lost the head-to-head to Josh. Can I confidently eliminate every single person booked behind Josh Allen to at least beat out Josh Allen? So I'm in a head-to-head with Stafford May?
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Another sport like the NBA, which is dealing with its own, scandals, so to speak, and its own headlines with the FBI and what else comes, because this is the same FBI team that also brought the NBA scandals to light. So I'd have to imagine they're working on some other stuff as well right now, and the timing is definitely not a coincidence, but definitely some very significant news in the gambling world that now you're not going to be able to bet more than $200 on a specific pitch market.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Where are the wins coming from? And yes, I agree. Are they good enough to win those games? Yeah, of course they are, right? But the reality of this team is not very good this year in one-score games. They're not. That was their bread and butter a year ago. Like every win last year, one-score game, the Chiefs found a way to win it.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
You need Justin Jefferson on that wall in the playoffs. Like, you got to go get him. He is still the man. I understand the JJ week last. I get it. It was ugly. There were a lot of spots where, where's he throwing that ball to? What's he doing? It'll be fine. Justin Jefferson's far too talented, and McCarthy will continue to figure it out. But it's the target volume you want. He gets double-digit targets every week. He is arguably the best wide receiver in the NFL.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
All eyes on the practice report today on a Football Friday. Why? Because the New England Patriots are going to travel to take on the Cincinnati Bengals. It should be a blowout. We were as high as 8.5 earlier this week, but now we're down below a touchdown and as low as 5.5 at multiple outlets as a favorite for New England over Cincinnati in a total of 51.5. Why is that? Cincinnati quarterback TBD, to be determined. Don't think it's going to be Flacco. Why? Joe Burrow has taken all the snaps this week with the starters. Anticipation of a start by Burrow. It's coming here, Joe. So where does that leave you with the Bengals getting 5.5 points?
Yeah, well, it leaves me to an over, period. And don't overthink this, because to me, this is crazy. Burrow, listen, the one thing New England's, their bugaboo is that they're not very good against the pass. They're dominant against the run. You're not running on this defense of New England, but they are very susceptible to the passing game here. So it makes sense that the line has come with the idea that Burrow is going to play here in week 12 and that he's practiced full with the starters beginning on Wednesday, did it again yesterday. Even though he hasn't been announced, I think whether it's him or Flacco, the idea that Cincinnati is going to be able to get points. But if I'm New England, I also believe I'm going to be able to name my score in a lot of different ways as well here, Donnie, because I think Drake May and this team will have a field day not only running but throwing on them. So forget the side. I think all the value's in the total, and I think we're going to land in the mid-50s in this game.
Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys, 425. Dallas looking to claim their season back. If the Philadelphia Eagles beat them, Dallas' season will be over. Everything's on the line with the Eagles. Look ahead line, -3.5. Most outlets here now showing threes across the board. And a total, Joe, that opened up at 51.5. You see that graphic. We are down to 47.5 everywhere right now. Hurts versus Prescott. The Eagles defense rammed up. Dallas looking to get revenge. What gives for you on Sunday here between these two?
Yeah, you know who leads the league in 3 and outs this year, Donnie? The Philadelphia Eagles offense, 31%. In fact, for 3 and out. That leads the league, and that's just crazy. But good thing they have a defense here. I love the under earlier in the week, Donnie. That's the way I bet this game. I got it under 49.5. But listen, we've given you the numbers, right? Dallas defensively, you saw it last week. Much better, and they're going up against a offense. Forget about the Philadelphia Eagles. They're going up against an offense that, again, leads the league in 3 and out. So Dallas at home, and Dak Prescott, throughout his career, has always been profitable against the NFC East. He's dominated them. No reason, if you can get 3.5, Donnie, not to take the 3.5 with the home team here as an underdog.
Ooh, Kirk Cousins returns back to the saddle with Penix being down. He'll be the quarterback the rest of the way out. Shock on the other side. Down in New Orleans, he will probably be the quarterback on the way out for the rest of the season as well. A 39.5 price point on the total and a favorite here for New Orleans. My goodness, Atlanta can't stop the free fall, but can they do it this weekend? And do they deserve to be underdogs against the Saints?
Well, listen, the Saints do one thing well defensively, and that is stop the run. The secondary has gotten beat up this year, and the question is, coming out of a bye, do we think that Kirk Cousins, who looks about as disinterested at 37 years old in playing than anybody? I mean, why would you? You got a $180 million contract, and you get to hold the clipboard on the sideline, and you still get your check. At 37, he's not 27, Don. He's 37. What's the motivation here, one way or the other? So I'd be a little suspect here with Atlanta and Kirk Cousins running away with this game. But there's just no way I can back a favorite spot here with New Orleans. I do think the under, though, might be the best look of this game.
All Bijan all day. Why? Drake London's not even going to play in this football game with that knee injury. Tough times for the Atlanta Falcons. We'll see if that improves in the Dome. If not, that embarrassing season will continue. Sunday Night Football, we got a good one here. Tampa Bay showed up in Buffalo, got hammered last week when the Rams had an emotional victory where the defense forced multiple turnovers, including 4 interceptions on Sam Darnold to come away with a victory. The Rams, are favored by 6.5 points with a total, Joe, of 49.5. Telling you, the public's loving Tampa Bay here. I say not so fast right now. Maybe the Rams can get this one done as well at home.
Yeah, listen, I think the Rams can win. I think it's a big ask for them to have to win by more than a touchdown here. especially given the fact, and I don't love the spot for Tampa, by the way, having to go to Orchard Park last week, fly back home, then now fly out to L.A. To take them on here. The Rams have been reliable in this spot, certainly in a primetime spot here, but there's so many injuries with the Bucs on the offensive line, now the defensive side. It's tough to trust them, but I do think maybe the under, again, might not be a bad look in this spot. Expect the defenses to have a little more success in this one than the offenses.
Defenses stepping up. Do they step up on Monday Night Football as we take a look at the Carolina Panthers and the San Francisco 49ers? I think we might get some points here. And by the way, the disrespect here of Bryce Young, last game out against the Falcons, 448 and 3 touchdowns and a pass rating of 123.2. He's got another low passing prop here. I do think we have a chance to get some sparks because now you get Brock Purdy back. It's healthy as the 49ers have been on offense all season long. Why can't we get 50 in this game on Monday night, Joe?
Well, I think this is buy low. I think the 49ers, the market has completely missed the boat, Donnie, because you're right. Purdy is healthy. Kittle is healthy. Ricky Pearsall is back here. This 49ers offense has been playing at one of the fastest paces in the league, Donnie, even with a backup quarterback in Mac Jones. I mean, Purdy's averaging over 7.5 yards per pass play. I mean, and they're going quickly here. So I think they're going to be able to put up a ton of points in this game. I'm with you. I love San Francisco, and I love the over in this game.
How about Ted McMillan on the outside? Kid is unstoppable. What a great draft pick. The kid looks like he has a really bright future. And I just think Carolina coming into his own a little bit more on offense. Once you got that ground game cranked up, you moved on from Chuba Hubbard to Rico Dowdle. It's really paid dividends here. And also, Joe, what are your thoughts on Carolina actually making a wild card run or even a legitimate chance to knock off Tampa Bay? Tampa Bay struggling right now, not too far ahead of them.
Yeah, well, the problem is they got a ton of injuries on that offensive line. Now, I believe their best linebacker, Rosenboom, is not going to be available for this game. They got to get healthy, Donnie, and then we can have a conversation about Carolina upsetting the apple cart.
How about that, people? One more segment to go. Let's close it down in style next, right here on the early line.
And Mahomes were never taken serious. Hurts won't be even if they're the 1 seed. Jonathan Taylor plays running back. Stop. Mahomes lost the head-to-head to Josh. Can I confidently eliminate every single person booked behind Josh Allen to at least beat out Josh Allen? So I'm in a head-to-head with Stafford May?
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Another sport like the NBA, which is dealing with its own, scandals, so to speak, and its own headlines with the FBI and what else comes, because this is the same FBI team that also brought the NBA scandals to light. So I'd have to imagine they're working on some other stuff as well right now, and the timing is definitely not a coincidence, but definitely some very significant news in the gambling world that now you're not going to be able to bet more than $200 on a specific pitch market.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Where are the wins coming from? And yes, I agree. Are they good enough to win those games? Yeah, of course they are, right? But the reality of this team is not very good this year in one-score games. They're not. That was their bread and butter a year ago. Like every win last year, one-score game, the Chiefs found a way to win it.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
You need Justin Jefferson on that wall in the playoffs. Like, you got to go get him. He is still the man. I understand the JJ week last. I get it. It was ugly. There were a lot of spots where, where's he throwing that ball to? What's he doing? It'll be fine. Justin Jefferson's far too talented, and McCarthy will continue to figure it out. But it's the target volume you want. He gets double-digit targets every week. He is arguably the best wide receiver in the NFL.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
Yeah, we get angry at a lot of things in life here. And, NBA players and superstars and coaches, yeah, they travel and go to five-star hotels. They have chartered flights, the best meals, the best food, high paid. But sometimes those back-to-backs don't make a whole lot of sense here. And we just wanted a little talk about Eric Spoelstra, talking about back-to-backs in the NBA.
I mean, it can't be done the way it's structured right now. So Steve and I and the staff, when we were together the last 2 summers, we had talked about it, but it's not changing. The only way it could have changed, possibly is with a new TV deal that everybody could agree on, 10 less games or something like that. But since that didn't happen, I also agree with what Steve said. People aren't going to give money back, to have less games. So there really isn't a solution to get rid of the back-to-backs, at this time.
Spo been using the.
I find interesting about that too, Joe, is like you have to give money back. Like the NFL plays 17 games and makes more money than all of these leagues. So what are we talking about? Don't ratings go higher when the players and the star players are in there all the time? Isn't ticket demand even higher if there's less games here that you want to get in that building and you pay more money to make sure that you see the superstars healthy and playing each and every week? I don't buy that argument. Now, they're not going to go from 82 games to 40 games, right? But you can cut down and say, if we chop off 10 games, we have no more back-to-backs. It's such a much better product where the superstars can play every single game.
No argument, Donnie, but he is right. The deal has been inked, the money is exchanged hands, and as long as now, it's no surprise that the ratings numbers keep getting posted and highlighted, Donnie, every week. Like, look at how many people love the NBA. Yeah, I don't know how you're going to switch it, but we all believe, and I think everyone knows, a little more spaced out or a fewer games would make the product and the superstars a lot happier.
Exactly. What about that, huh? Now's the time. Look, Joe and I talked this entire show. We talked this entire week, but we need to hear from the public on some NFL action. Here's our Fade the Public poll. Not Joe and myself. We're talking to the public here, who is your best bet to win the AFC this season? At SportsGrid on X. If you follow, we give these questions out each and every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So there's 4 answers, Joe. Colts, Broncos, Bills, and the Chiefs. The leader in the clubhouse, the Denver Broncos. Let's ride at close to 41% live right now, Joe.
And you know what's crazy is that there's 2 teams on that list might not make the playoffs at all, that being the Bills and the Chiefs here, Donnie, which is kind of hard to think, but that's the situation we're in. I agree with the public. I think until further notice, I think the Broncos have showed you exactly what they're all about. They're capable of winning close games. Quite honestly, they should have beaten the Colts if it wasn't for that ridiculous flag on the field goal there over in week, what was that, 4, I think it was. They should only have 1 loss on the season. I think that's a championship defense, and I think that's exactly the kind of defense that will win a team a Super Bowl championship, at the very least, an AFC championship.
Caffeinated Joe told you that, people. Defense, more defense. The best defense of those 4 teams is those Denver Broncos here. We'll find out how that turns out here. But now, let's win some money on a Friday. Friday's payday. Here's bye. I had CLV last night, and I lost. Joe won a game yesterday with minus CLV. Thank you, Joe, for picking up that 1 win for us yesterday. The goal is to go 2-0. Where are we looking tonight with your play?
Let's go with the game of night in college football here tonight. 7:30 will be the Pacific time, 10:30 Eastern time, a little late night with Hawaii taking on UNLV. A huge game for a chance to compete for a Mountain West championship. Do not overthink this game. Both of these defenses are no good. Both offenses throw the ball and score a ton of points. There is no reason to sweat out an under here tonight with Hawaii and UNLV. I'll take the over, Donnie.
There you go. I'm going to go over to the NBA tonight. I'm going to take a look at those Houston Rockets here, -2 as a favorite. Why do I like them? Only 40% of the tickets coming in. Everybody loves Denver. Give me the home team, slightly favored. Kevin Durant and the boys handle their business, and we go 2-0 on a Friday and kick off this week in style. Or should I say end the week, Joe, in style?
Yeah, there are some great NBA games tonight for the NBA Cup, and there are some great college basketball games as well.
You should love it, people, and we absolutely do. For Donnie Wright, and Joe Ranieri, thanks for tuning into the early line. We'll see you bright and early on Monday morning.